Hi everyone, it's QuickyBaby and welcome back to World of Tanks, and today we've got the pleasure of watching Mighty Shot 9 playing in the new British double-barreled heavy tank. It is the Canopener, and well, to say that Mighty Shot is going to be delivering a few of their namesake in this game is going to be an understatement. The Canopener, it's new and it's not really the best at anything when I think about it. I guess it's the best at being able to deliver a big alpha damage shell instantly. That's what its speciality is. And that is because unlike the ST2, its Soviet competition, this vehicle actually has a smaller caliber gun. It's got 120 compared to the 122, and it hits slightly less, 420 rather than the 440 that you'd be used to on the ST2. And so that means you can deal 840 damage, bang, instantly, whereas the ST2 has to take, is it 2 seconds, or two or 3 seconds to be able to prepare to deliver the shell. Now, these British doubles, they've been around for a little while now. They entered the game in December with the Contradictious, which is kind of living up to its name, is a little bit controversial, actually. Some people seem to really like it and think it's absolutely great, and some people just don't seem to be able to make it work. However, its big brother tech tree tank, the Canopener, it seems to be, most people think it's an absolutely banging tank. And today I'm going to try and deliver a verdict of, is the Canopener the new best heavy tank? And is it the one that you should try and get your hands on? Well, firstly, let's talk about where the Canopener is really strong. And that is in this kind of a situation. Sitting, hull down, bouncing the gold spam from the enemy team. And as we can see, Mighty Shot is going to be spamming only gold in this game, unless they decide to dip into their high explosive rounds. And in these kind of scenarios, this thing is an absolute beast. It has hardly got a weak point on top of the vehicle, and when you're using your gun depression, it's practically hidden. When you angle the vehicle like this, using the ridgeline, the lower plate is completely covered. And the only issue that this vehicle might have would be the, I guess, the driver's hatch on the front. You see it sticking out here? But the thing is, it's still very thick, and so that's only really a weak point maybe half the time if your opponents are spamming gold at it when you're in a hull down position like this. The only thing that Mighty Shot has to worry about here is that if they do angle their hull like this, that you're obviously going to get caught on the side here, but also when you angle that hatch on the front, it does have a very flat side, and that is easy to be able to penetrate with standard rounds, let alone with gold rounds. So, the Mighty Shot is from the NA server, and as we can see, it is the land of capitalism, the land of the free. Well, at least not the land of the free shells, as the case may be here. Every single round we have seen in the first 3 minutes of this game have been gold. Even tier 10 tank destroyer gold, like from the 268 version 5. And then gold from the Canopener here. But I can totally understand why Mighty Shot would be only spamming gold here. Firstly, it's a new tank. Maybe they're trying to get their 3 marker of excellence on this, or just trying to see how far they can push the vehicle. As we can see, they got 2 rings on each of the 120mm barrels that the Canopener has. And will they have more by the end of this replay? Well, you're just going to have to wait and see. But I find myself actually firing a lot of gold in these British tanks. And one of the most awkward things about them is that if, for example, you tap to change shells just once, and then you fire a single shell, it actually then reloads both of the barrels. And here we go, we're actually going to see maybe a double. Boom, baby, there we go. Finally, a double. And like, man, Mighty Shot unleashes his first Mighty Shot of the game, but was up to 6,000 damage before they decided to double the 268 version 5. And that is because you're a silly sausage if you use the double in this tank in kind of a hold down situation like that, because your accuracy goes from being pretty good on this vehicle. The base accuracy on this tank is actually 0.33, but it goes up to a horrendous 1.2 when you're firing the doubles on this vehicle. So you should just be always using the singles until you have an opportunity to either finish off a vehicle in a single double salvo, or alternatively if it's going to be your last chance to be able to hit the enemy tank. And so, because of how awkward it is to switch the shells in this tank, unless you use intuition, which I do have on my Contradictions. I definitely do have intuition on it, and on my Canopener as well. But it can be really awkward to try and train yourself to not have that mentality of, I just dab the 2 key or the 1 key once, fire a shell, and it'll automatically start switching. Because that's going to take you 20 seconds to load a single shell. And you might as well switched and fired a double if that was the case. So watch out for that. It's a mistake that I see quite a few people make, and I am still making even a month after we've now had the British double barrels inside the game. So there's no doubt that the Canopener is an absolute petrifying tank to play against. And is it the best tank in a hold down position? Probably. I mean, the M5Y can make its turret very, very, very good indeed, but can it make its turret so good that you struggle to even penetrate it if you spam gold when it either raises the gun or to be able to hit the weak point on top? Probably not. The Type 71 has a horrendous weak point on top as well, but boys and girls, here we go. HE double. Oof, sir. There you go. 1,022. Look at me. I'm the HE now. Or I'm the FV4005 now. The mighty shot must jeer towards the British tank destroyer on the enemy team. And that's not even a high roll. Each one of those barrels was 520 HE damage. Mighty Shot's just going to come round and clutch shot there. Switch to an AP round sensibly so they could just aim at the hull and not have to aim at the turret. With the FV405 just lazily leaving their hull armor around there. And just like that, Mighty Shot claps out 8,700 damage as if it was nothing. And impressively, even though every single round on the NA server that has been fired at Mighty Shot is gold, they blocked 4,700 damage, and they still got 1,700 hit points left. One thing that's interesting for me here is that Mighty Shot has decided to take an experimental turbo on this tank, which I guess is going to be better than anything apart from like maybe a Bond turbo on this vehicle. I just feel that the value that you get from a rotation device and maybe an experimental turbo on this tank is quite small because the tank has no gun dispersion when it's inside the double mode. But let me clarify, when I say dispersion, I don't mean accuracy, I mean the movement dispersion. Literally perfect, 0.01. I guess the experimental turbo will help when you're playing in that single mode. But yeah, definitely low value for vert stabs on this tank. Interesting that the Mighty Shot has decided to not use an aiming device on this vehicle. I really like it on my Canopener, or on my Contradictions, because it has the worst accuracy for those doubles, but it doesn't look like it matters because Mighty Shot just rolls the dice and claps both shells into the Centurion. But for just having brutal doubles on this tank, vents and an aiming device, oh, it feels delicious. But you know what? To have the extra hit points that Mighty Shot has chosen here, to have those extra about 2,000 hit points on this tank, let's see if they're going to pay off later on in this battle. All right, so Mighty Shot clapping that Centurion there. Unfortunately, their last ally falls, and so that now means that they are in a 1 versus 3 scenario. And that Bat Chat, well, yeah, they are legging it. Doesn't look like they want to try and fight a Canopener in the front. You know what, if that Bat Chat was bold, they probably could have been able to get the side and dump all 5 rounds into the Canopener, but one miss and it would prove fatal for the French medium tank. And I think it's probably best if they do re-engage and try and get their artillery working with them. Mighty Shot definitely doesn't want that to happen, however, because they just want to fight them all one by one, right? And not turn this into a hold down fight against artillery, which doesn't work if the Bat Chat's providing vision. So the Mighty Shot enters the double mode here. They've got APCR loaded, no HE for either of the 2 artillery. And the HE rounds on this tank, they don't have the best of penetration at only 60. So yeah, best to be firing AP in this scenario. So Mighty Shot's coming around the corner with the double, spots the top of the Bat Chat. How are they going to fire? They decide not to, and disaster. They get spotted. They leave the double mode, so they'll have the extra speed, and they're just trying to figure out what to do right now. Oh, this is the only part of the replay which I feel like the Mighty Shot might be a little bit undecided. And they actually take a 400 damage shell from the arty and 400 from the Bat Chat there as well. Luckily, the Bat Chat overexposed to their side armor, and Mighty Shot manages to go right through there, locking the Bat Chat down, burning their repair kit. But Mighty Shot as well isn't repairing their fuel tank. And that can also be very dangerous when you're not using a fire extinguisher, although I do expect the Mighty Shot has probably got a fire extinguishing crew here. But still, that will mean that instead of taking 400, they will be taking a lot more against the Bat Chat, probably 6 to 7, maybe even 800. And they won't have many hit points left if that happens. So both of the artillery have decided they don't want to engage at long range and be able to dump shells, but they're instead going to try and go into TD mode to be able to deal with this can opener. However, Mighty Shot is going to come round with a double, looking for the Object 261. Great decision there, because the 420 damage would have only probably been able to get rid of the Object 261 maybe kind of 1 out of 3 times. They fire the double, they finish off the TD. Well, an artillery going TD mode, but unfortunately they take 258 damage, which now means that the Bat Chat can actually deal with the can opener in 2 shells. And considering the Bat Chat's on 988 hit points, Mighty Shot is going to have to hit that Bat Chat 3 times if they want to take them out of this game. However, can you imagine landing a double? That will be 2 out of the 3 shots that Mighty Shot needs to be able to hit against the French medium tank. And there we go, the great equalizer. And why this tank is just so brutal. You can have all of the risk of the double, and now it feels as if the opportunity is into Mighty Shot's favor. Having the single shot mode now, having none of that poor accuracy, none of that poor gun handling, now just able to pinpoint shoot the Bat Chat and just hope that the Bat Chat's gonna make a mistake. They bounce a shell off Mighty Shot. Mighty Shot shows some poor marksmanship there, just trying to get this exciting shell into the French medium. And it is neck and neck right now. The Bat Chat not coming around the corner, has the advantage of the bush. Only 3 minutes left on this game. Mighty Shot has to be able to catch the Bat Chat now. If they run away, then Mighty Shot might not be able to find them. They fire 1 shell into trying to get through the side there. The Bat Chat gets spotted, actually puts a shell into Mighty Shot's side of their tank by the looks of it. And this is ugly now. It's neck and neck, 11,600 damage there. Both a 1 shot. Does the Bat Chat go for it? Mighty Shot, are they going to be able to try and take the shell here? Are they going to watch out? The Bat Chat finally gets spotted. Not sure if they missed or if the bush just failed them. And Mighty Shot finishes off an incredible game of World of Tanks. 11,700 damage dealt. And while the durability device didn't make the difference here, they didn't need those extra hit points against the Bat Chat, they still might have, right? They might have needed it. And to be able to just destroy half of the enemy team here, slapping out a game for the ages, most people's account record in a brand new tank, really shows you that Mighty Shot has sussed out this British heavy already. And to say sussed out might be a bit of an understatement, as Mighty Shot managed to 3-mark the British heavy tank in very quick succession. And marks of excellence wise, the only vehicle that's harder at the moment is the buffed M5Y, at least on the European server. It requires 4,800 combined to be able to get the can opener, with the M5Y just 9 ahead of that. What an absolute monster game for a monster tank and a monster player here. Mighty Shot did everything they needed to do, just won that hull down fight, had an incredible kind of ace tanker worthy game before they had to push on, deal with the FV405 and get back to base. And while the handling of the Bat Chat situation was probably less than graceful, they still got the job done. So Mighty Shot, congratulations to you on an epic game and that 3rd mark of excellence, an impressive feat in a brand new and very good tank. So now I'm going to try and come to a conclusion. Is the Canopener the new best heavy tank in the game? Well, if we look at it via raw win ratio, at least on the European server, it's just a touch behind the M5Y, which is similar to the marks of excellence stat. However, we also need to take into account that when a vehicle is new, very experienced players are going to play it. They will have free-experienced all of the way up, that used blueprints, just got there as quickly as they can, and usually the better, more experienced players will be playing the tank first. So accordingly, the can opener actually has the best players via their account win ratio playing it. And so if we use win rate difference instead, we see that the can opener jumps down towards the upper third, which importantly is significantly behind the M5Y. And even though the better players are playing the can opener, the M5Y is getting the better win ratio by nearly 0.5%. So there's absolutely no doubt that the can opener is a good, if not great, heavy tank. But I think it's still a little bit early to say that this is the best tier 10 heavy. It's early days yet, and we're going to have to wait and see when the more casual players make their way up the British heavies and start to see how they perform in the can opener. But there's absolutely no doubt that it's very sad days for the Super Conqueror, which just about a year ago, before the nerfs, was pretty much the favored child and arguably the best heavy in the game. So if any of you are thinking of a line that you should go for right now, I do thoroughly recommend the British double heavies. They're strong pretty much the whole way up, and they're both friendly for casual players and also very, very good for more experienced players who will start to figure out how and when to use those doubles. Anyway, ladies and gents, boys and girls, that was it for me today. Really hope you enjoyed this one. And a massive thank you to Mighty Shot for uploading their epic game on the the QuickyBaby.what-record website, where all of you are welcome to upload your games to share with the community, and maybe the great ones will get my attention to be featured here. Anyway, really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you hated it, give it a thumbs down. And let me know what you think about the can opener in the comments down below. And if you're watching this video as it's released on Monday, I am back live streaming full time, and Wargaming have got some brand new drops. So you can come along and get some premium consumables and some personal reserves just for watching. So really looking forward to seeing you all live right now. And as always, thank you so much for watching. You've been epic, and hopefully I'll see you soon.